Just 6 months after Jimmy Grucci's greatest triumph with the Brooklyn Bridge display, he was killed, along with a cousin, in an accidental explosion that destroyed most of the company complex. It is a testament to the family's strength that they decided to rebuild and go on. The only way to live with the hazards is to take them with deadly seriousness.
The greatest risks in manufacturing occurs at the time when you're blending the chemicals together. At that point, if certain chemicals come in contact with each other that are not supposed to be coming into contact with each other, you can have a spontaneous combustion. So we're always cognizant of the devices that we're working on, new formulations that are coming out. But the most sensitive part of the program is when you're actually out on the location, and to make sure that you have the right tables of distances separating your audience from the actual points of discharge of the fireworks, because if an incident is going to happen, that's the place that it would happen at.
Las Vegas, Nevada, known for world-class entertainment. Familiar stomping grounds of the Grucci family, who have staged fireworks extravaganzas at the unveiling and even the demise of many of its most famous casinos. Workers at the Reserve Hotel and Casino, just over the city limits in Henderson, are racing to get everything ready for the grand opening the following day. Fireworks by Grucci aims to make it one that will not soon be forgotten.
In this particular program, we have a number of locations. We have 5 total: the high rise of the building, the low rise, and 3 aerial sites. The VIP audience for this is right in the middle of it. So they have pyrotechnics basically in sense around. And during the program, we bounce from the high rise to the low rise to the aerials. During the finale, all the 5 locations come together as one large finale.
More than 3,200 pyrotechnic devices will be ignited from these 3 aerial shell sites and 2 low-level fireworks sites on the roof. 2,100 launched in the 2-minute finale alone.
What Joe's loading right now is a 3-inch silver meteor. It's a firework that when it's fired from the mortar, it leaves a very bright silver column from the ground level up to about 300 feet. He's loading them into mortars, which is like a cannon. Each one of those, you see the wires that are hanging out of it. That wire is extended to a firing console, like a lighting board. And when the pyrotechnician pushes a button during the script of the program, that button will correspond to that firework and discharge it into the air.
Electric charges are sent to the shell's fuses through these miles of wires, where they ignite them by way of electric matches, which create sparks. Workers set up and wire rows of Roman candles and pyrotechnic strobes for a low-level effect that will contrast with the high-level aerial shells, while defining the second-story roof as the foreground for the display.
So, roughly 4 feet from each pillar. Does that look good from there, thinking about it?
Phil returns to ground level to see that they have placed the fireworks correctly on the 2 roofs in relation to the primary viewing area. The major artillery of the show will be launched from 3 ground-level satellite sites. The mechanics of firing a shell are described by renowned fireworks professor Dr. John Conkling.
The aerial shell is probably the firework most people are familiar with, associate with the 4th of July and a fireworks show. These are devices, they range from 3 inches to 12 inches or more in diameter, are loaded into a tube called a mortar that's buried in the ground or secured in a rack, and then are launched several hundred feet up in the air where they explode. The inside construction is interesting. There is a charge of black powder, gunpowder on the bottom. This is the propellant that throws the device several hundred feet up in the air. While it's firing up in the air, a time fuse is burning. So 5-6 seconds later, it's 400 feet up in the air. The fuse burns into the center. This is a black powder that's impregnated on rice hulls to give a nice quick flash and a burst. This explodes the package. Around the outside are stars. These are the pellets that burn with a red color, a green color, a blue color, and will form a pattern up in the air.
When all the electrical connections have been run from the firing board to the mortars, the chief pyrotechnician runs a continuity test. He sends an extremely small current through the lines to diagnose any problems, which would indicate a break in the electrical circuit between the board and shells.
Confirm 1 red light. Second confirmation, we have 2 red lights.
At the main aerial battery, they work right up into the evening, loading more shells and double-checking everything to make sure tomorrow's 10-minute show goes off safely and on cue.
This shell, as you can see, has a number on it also. And this is designed in the program to be the 261st cue in the program. So there'll be a pre-time that if the music calls for this purple chrysanthemum to be in the sky, 5 seconds before the music calls for that, the pyrotechnician down here needs to launch this into the sky, which is our pre-time.
These 3 satellite sites with their array of mortars will bear the brunt of launching the deafening bombardment and saturation of color that mark the Grucci Grand Finale.
The sand in here is mainly to keep the mortars facing the way that you put them. So now, if you didn't have sand in there or anything holding the mortars, it would just flip-flop when it goes out. But now, as you see, we have these angled a little bit that way. On that side, we have them angled. So it fills up the sky, and it covers the whole area. You're getting a beautiful scene of it all over.
All shells make noise, but the really loud bangs, known as salutes, are produced by a shell having an additional chamber filled with a highly combustible aluminum powder. Whether they know it or not, all Las Vegas is in for a fireworks treat as big as the Nevada sky. When the doors open the next day, VIP guests get an exotic first glance at the brand new casino. At 9:30, guests are invited out into the brisk desert air to witness the pyrotechnic baptism of the casino. From point of launch up to the sky, pyrotechnics completely fill the scene with their grace and power. Then, the finale.
Position 4A, standing by for firing cues. Board is armed.
There's a personal association to me for what I do here on the site and all the choreography and the time that's spent to my father. He gave his life for this business, and so every program that we go on is my own dedication to him.
Words do not convey the full sensory experience, which is why people invented fireworks in the first place. Inside the offices of Pyro Spectaculars, located in the San Bernardino area of Southern California, Jim Souza is putting the finishing touches on a fireworks sequence for their upcoming showcase. Each spring, they preview their Independence Day program in front of a select audience of friends and customers. Come July, Pyro Spectaculars will be displaying variations of this program at more than 300 sites around the country.